In 2000, we bought an abandoned 100-acre farm in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. We spent years cleaning it up, built a new house, and now are trying to make it a functional homestead farm. Welcome to Red Tool House.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Red Tool House. We're continuing our series on what to consider before homesteading.
That's right, Kel. Yeah, you're right. What we want to talk about in this video is don't make a mistake that we made.
Or one of them.
Oh yeah. Here's just one of the mistakes that we've made. I suggest you not make it. The topic of this is, and it's just quite frankly, plant perennials immediately. And the only reason we say that is, some of you know, if you've watched the channel, you know our history. We've been here 17 years, and we weren't really planning on homesteading when we bought this property. We just kind of wanted to be off by ourselves. Only until 5-7 years ago did we really get into to this and have a conscious effort to do it. But if we would have planted perennials, if we had planted fruit trees and berry bushes and all that stuff 17 years ago, man, we'd have had a bumper crop. We'd have had all kinds of great stuff here. But we didn't. So what we're looking at now, we're standing here by our food forest that we're trying to build, and well, it looks great, doesn't it? This time of year, it's asleep right now, so it's not productive. But here we are with trees that are 2 years old and still not producing any fruit yet. So just a lot of wasted time. So if you're planning on homesteading, you're still getting the details together on your homestead, make sure you've got a game plan to put perennials in the ground as soon as possible. And even if that means, hey, I got to make sure I set some money aside. If I'm going to skip Starbucks coffee every once in a while, and I'm going to put my money in my jar to be able to buy fruit trees or whatever other perennials you think about as soon as you get on your property. So definitely have that in your budget.
Some of the things that we started with are apple trees and cherry trees. We've got some elderberry bushes, and we've got a blueberry patch.
The game plan, of course, was to try this stuff and kind of get it started to see what was going to take off. But there's just tons and tons of perennials. Now, again, usually every homesteader plans on gardening and dealing with annuals. But if you really look at these perennials, something that is an investment that's going to come back yearly for you. And like Kelly said, so we've got our food forest or orchard or whatever the heck you want to call it. So we've got some cherry trees here. We've got a couple apple trees back through there. Different varieties that we've planted back through this area. And then we've got an area here where we've got several elderberry bushes that we've planted, trying to maybe use that as a hedge along the road. Of course, we've got our cages up so the deer don't wear them out. But even around each tree, we've planted comfrey. So comfrey being a nitrogen fixer, it's going to grow and provide nutrient for the trees. So we can do a chop and drop there and just continue to fertilize the trees, or we can use that comfrey elsewhere. But even letting things grow up, now some of you guys may freak out, but this is autumn olive. And so letting even autumn olive come back. It's funny, in West Virginia, I believe they're actually paying people to destroy autumn olive. The government is, the state. But autumn olive does produce an edible fruit. It is an extremely invasive species, so it can take over everything. So there's places I let it grow up and places I don't. But it's one of those things, you have to have that plan to say, I want to plant perennials and I want to get those in the ground as soon as possible, because again, it's going to pay dividends on down the road. And as Kelly mentioned already, we have blueberries, and we've documented that. We've shown the irrigation, how we irrigate them, and how we did the pH level and all that. So those blueberries were an investment, and each year they just grow more and more. And we're hoping this year to have a decent crop of blueberries from it. And even looking at, okay, do we expand that? Do we make that blueberry patch larger? I think we have 12? So we have 12 blueberry plants in the what we consider our blueberry field. 3 different varieties. One that blooms and fruits early in the year, one that's mid, and then one that's late. So hopefully we get the longest window of fruit production there. But it's also an opportunity to kind of test to say which of these varieties does best in our zone, with our land, with our temperature, all those type of things. And we can say, okay, wow, this one really does great. Let's add more of those as we expand the blueberry patch out. But strongly suggest, as you're making your goal list for what you want to do with your homestead, as soon as you're ready to start, make sure perennials are part of that and factor that into your budget. Set aside money to make those purchases so you can get those things in the ground and get them producing for you as soon as possible.
Thanks again for joining us, everyone. Give us a thumbs up as it helps others to see our videos. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/Red Tool House Farm. Thank you.
Take care, everybody.